Okay, we have 11 people today, or 10, if I may say. Do you have, okay, maybe let's start and then they can join when we continue. Let me start by sharing my slide. Can you see my slide?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
All right, let me try again.
There we go.
All right. Good evening, everyone. We are continuing on our journey of the real estate NQF level 4. Yeah, it's been a long journey. You know, it's yeah. I can't believe we're here today. We are going to be starting with another aspect of the real estate NQF level 4. So like we always start this, when we start a new section, we call them the learner units. The learner unit that we'll be covering today falls under the division called the real estate practice. So basically, this is focusing on you, as we all know that this qualification was targeted as from the point of view of an estate agent. But I think all of us can agree that the things we are learning are beyond being an estate agent. It's more about you understanding the environment as a property developer or any other role you would like to play. So basically, it's about how do you practice. You know, you've been told about the platform, what is out there. You've been told about the various legislation that govern what happens in this area. Now we are looking at when you actually are running your business, what are the important things that you need to look at? As we've already discussed that the exit level outcomes for this course in its entirety are these three things: analyze, evaluate, and apply the real estate code of conduct. We did deal with that. Demonstrate the knowledge of the real estate environment and the various laws, rules, and regulations. That is what we're doing when we're looking at the legislation. Now we are looking at performing the real estate function. So we're getting close. The real estate practice has 4 modules. The first one is the marketing strategy for a new venture. And then the next one is sales and marketing of real estate. We're also going to deal with the business principles in real estate transactions. We'll also look at financial advice in real estate. We also look at office administration. So when talking about financial advice, it's more about inward looking now, not necessarily outward looking. And also, how do you develop yourself as a business person in real estate? After we finish, so with this week, we'll be focusing on the marketing strategy. And the learning outcomes that we expect from this module is to be able to demonstrate knowledge of marketing concepts applicable to a new venture operation. Also to analyze the product service requirements of the target market of a new venture, to demonstrate an understanding of the market research process and interpret the findings relevant to the new venture, to develop and implement a marketing plan for a new venture, and to evaluate and modify the marketing plan. And these are the topics to be covered: introduction to the pre-marketing principles, what is the background when you're developing the marketing plan, going to discuss in detail the actual marketing plan, and then how do we do the execution, and we close off by developing a business plan for this particular business. So what we are doing now, we are combining both real estate and new venture in one, but this so the focus there will be more as a new venture in real estate, not just a general one. So what is marketing? Marketing is looked at as the art of selling and advertising. It is what you provide to satisfy consumer needs. So marketing is more than just sales. There is a whole big thing that happens before you get to the point where you are actually selling. And we will see that during the course of the week. The activities that are involved is to get your potential customers' attention. So at that point in time, you haven't made a sale. You motivate them to buy. There's a whole host of things that go in there. And then you get them to actually buy. But then what is important for the business to succeed is for them to buy again. So you need to have a reliable source of income. So basically that's what marketing is. At the end of the day is to make sure that you have buyers who buy into your product, who actually believe in your product, and you make sure that it meets their needs. And so for you to meet their needs, you must make sure you monitor as the needs of your target market changes and make sure that you can respond. So, there is a lot of work that goes into making sure that you always on point when you are in the market for whatever product, not just real estate. So it's about how you define your product, you promote your product, you distribute it, and you maintain a relationship with your customers. There are three basic concepts in marketing that we need to look at. That's what forms the basis of marketing. The first one is the needs, as we've just spoken in the previous slide. So every human has needs ranging from different, from basics to the higher ends, which we classify as self-actualization. And you use certain goods to satisfy these needs. So the needs predate the marketing. So you first need to understand what is needed before you can decide what you're going to market. So needs cannot be created through marketing, but it can be satisfied through marketing. As an example, a person may need to rent a house, which is a genuine need, but has a particular taste in different renting options due to complex factors as individuals, which look at what social needs do you have, geographical, religious influence, which are some are referred to as perceived needs. And you also have other additional requirements based on the location of the property, the pricing, and the status. So you can see here clearly the hierarchy is changing. You started off just wanting to rent a house, which is like you just needed a shelter. But then now you're looking socially, what is important to me geographically. And then it's also important, my address, what location, and, so when everybody goes out to look for a property, but we are all looking to satisfy totally different needs. It's a diverse area, and also as a property developer or as anyone, a practitioner in real estate, it is important also to know that you have a target. You know the space you want. What is the corporate strategy for you? What are you planning to focus on? Because each sector or each need you want to satisfy, you need to understand the complexities and the target market that you're dealing with, because it's a group. It's many different groups. So you can't say I'll just play in any sector in real estate. You need to understand the sector you want to operate in. The art of good marketing often lies in preempting the need, therefore having the product available when the need arises. So you don't wait. Sometimes you need to awaken your consumers to a need that they probably were not even aware of. So it's important that you preempt, you go ahead of time, understanding what is happening. We went into lockdown. It required great thinking, quick thinking in terms of, what are people going to need. So if I was telecom, it's not in real estate, but I'm just giving an example. The president announces that you're going to lockdown. Telecom sales department or any other service provider for that matter should make sure that there's the little population that can afford Wi-Fi but don't have it. You capture that, because now it was no longer a luxury, it became a necessity, because most people, you find that the companies they work for have Wi-Fi. So they do everything that requires Wi-Fi in the office. So there is minimal data requirements when they are at home. So there are people, especially if you don't have kids who need this Wi-Fi at home. So you would probably not have a need for a Wi-Fi if you stay alone and the office provides that. Then you can just spend, just a little amount. There are products with Abo Vodacom where there is that midnight owl product where you can use your free data or very cheap data between midnight and 5 a.m. So those are some of the things. But now with the lockdown, we found ourselves looking at Wi-Fi differently. Therefore, that was an opportunity to actually look at that. Another opportunity that came knocking, we're talking on Teams now. Most of us found out about Teams during lockdown. So it means that there was a quick response towards lockdown by these companies, the various companies that are providing this platform. And it is a thing now that is happening. So, that is what you need to look at if you have a business. You should be able to identify the need correctly in relation to the product. You should be able to create the perception of a need that will suit the product. As we are talking about needs, there is no way we will not be able to refer to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because this is the best way, where you make reference to the needs. We're all familiar with this. We have your physiological needs, which are the basic needs that deal with your food, your water, your warmth, your shelter. And then you have your safety needs. Those are also considered as your basic needs. And then there is the need of belongingness and love needs in terms of intimate relationships and friends. We refer to those as your psychological needs, together with your esteem needs in terms of prestige, feeling of accomplishment. And the highest need on the hierarchy is self-actualization, achieving one's full potential. So we're talking about, you want to be the first billionaire, those are self-actualization. You would like to be the president because, you've achieved most of the needs already in your life. And then now you're looking at those things that I would like to achieve this. The first, man in the moon, the first whatever. So those are the things that actually help people to achieve greatness. You push yourself to achieve your full potential. So it's not just about making money, it's also, developing, if you're in the field of science, coming up with breakthrough technology to do things differently. So those are some of the, so that's when you are looking from a marketing point of view, it's important to definitely understand that so that you are able to respond to the needs accordingly. Because to a certain point, when you're dealing with people that are looking for prestige needs, they tend to be more luxurious items. And when times markets are not really good, then you kind of lose people in those products. not everyone, but you just need to be aware and then try and cater for alternatives to what they usually people in that area were looking for. The second concepts that we are talking about is the products, which these concepts are basically the foundation of marketing. The products, like we said, the products satisfy your needs. So firstly, you need to have a need, and then as a supplier or a manufacturer of goods running a business, you need to find a product or a service that is going to satisfy that particular need. So it could be goods, it could be services. Some products are a combination. For example, when you go to a restaurant, you are satisfying a variety of needs. You are going to satisfy your hunger because you're going to get a plate of food, but then also you relax. If the ambience of the restaurant is good, then you also find yourself enjoying just the atmosphere. You can wind down, if you are stressed, so you end up enjoying. And sometimes another thing that can even spoil your food is the service that you get. By the time you eat your food, you went there for a plate of food, but because the service was so horrible, you are so upset by the time the food arrives, even if you did enjoy, the food was good, but because the service was not good, that will be your, what can I say, your conclusion about that restaurant. That will be your opinion about that restaurant, that in total, the experience was not the greatest. So if you're a restaurant owner, you need to understand that you are selling a service coupled with a good. So it's important to understand yourself first and ask yourself, is this the kind of business, understanding your personality, is this the kind of business I will be successful in? So just being a chef is not the only thing that can make your restaurant successful. But for example, if that person who is a creative, who is bogged down and a perfectionist, maybe you will need to get a manager who can run the restaurant for you, someone who is probably more people orientated, who is charming, who knows how to even deal with customers, who will remember that the client is always right and try and be able to manage any disputes amicably. So that is very important. Another example is that when you go to the mall to buy clothes, you also know that when you're at the mall, when you go to buy the clothes, there are related products that your favorite shopping mall offers in return. Firstly, it could be that parking is free for 2 hours, or there is a flat rate of parking over the weekend. So you can stay there for 6 hours and still pay 10 rand. But so it encourages, because usually when you go to the mall during the day, you're not even going to spend a lot of time. You just go during the week, you go there and you get what you want. But if you go to the mall over the weekend, so the malls are encouraging you as well to walk in and be happy that you can walk in and stay 6 hours, but you'll only pay as if you were there for 2 hours, the parking ticket. That way, it makes sure that you can visit more shops and not worry about the price of the parking ticket. Unlike at the airport, airports don't really like us to be parking our cars in there, because the parking, the price that parking at the airport costs, definitely they want you to drop people, or just be there for a few minutes and leave, if you are not a traveler. If you are dropping off someone, there is no need for you to just chill at the airport. Airport needs to keep people moving, because if the airport is full, it makes the processes very tedious, and it disrupts, people miss their flights and all that stuff, and it messes up the whole experience. So when you go to the mall, The whole point of those free parking tickets or reduced prices is to make sure that even if you came to buy clothes, maybe just go in there and maybe grab some, go to the food court and get something to eat. As you're walking around, you see a stand of ice cream. Maybe you can sit down and someone is promoting maybe, threading your eyebrows. People, sometimes those things happen. People offer you those things. So the reality is that when your needs, when you are a seller or a business person, you need to find ways that will encourage that products are bought. So if you own a mall, you are the owner of a mall, for an example. It is important for you that the businesses within your shopping mall are successful. Therefore, you need to do and put in place things that will encourage that their sales go up. So it's not just about the person who owns the shop who actually has to make sure their items are sold, but also as the property developer who owns the shopping mall, you do things that encourage that business continues within your mall. And then the last concept is the concept of value exchange and transaction. What do you mean about that? This is the actual act of buying and selling. It is the way in which people are able to obtain a product, such as a property, to satisfy their needs. Exchange describes the act of obtaining a desired product from someone by offering something in return. Once agreement is reached in terms of exchange, a transaction takes place. We can say a transaction has taken place. The value refers to the relative or perceived value that the product has because of factors such as pricing, such as availability, such as quality, and such as status. So people are looking for different values from a product. So as much as you're gonna pay a price, but there is also something that you are paying for. You are paying for quality, you are paying for status, you are paying for convenience. There are a couple of things that you actually gain in that. The manner of transaction becomes part of the marketing strategy as there are certain needs attached to the terms of exchange. Value is also closely linked to the manner of transaction. And how does your need in terms of exchange differ between obtaining a property to a hamburger? Like we just said, what value are you deriving from a property compared to a value that you're going to derive from buying a hamburger? How are you going to transact? The convenience, property is a huge investment. You don't expect someone to be holding cash, so hence there is that, what can I say? The patience and also the way even the contracts are structured. We did talk about suspensive conditions and resolutive conditions when we're talking about the contracts of sale under the contracts of law, that you give people time to source the financing. Because if you don't do that, that South Africa and generally around the world, most in developing and in some developing countries with established financial sector, then there is the issue of bonds, getting a bond for your property. So you need to allow time for the banks to actually get through their processes. But when you sell a hamburger, you want your money cash like now. Or, you want your money now because someone is going to eat the burger and forget about it. So, yeah, it's important. And the turnover is quite high compared to selling properties. Our first assignment or activity for today, we're saying The purchase of a house is not simply a means of a roof over your head. Identify the need-satisfying properties that a house has for different people. Identify at least 3 types of consumers in your discussion of the concepts and compare in a table. So what we're saying is that you will have 3 different types of consumers. So definitely we need to try and identify, the need for one. So we need to try and identify 3 different needs. Everybody is buying a house, but the other one, is their need is one thing. We did discuss earlier on the Maslow's hierarchy of need, and then what kind of product will satisfy, what kind of house will satisfy the different kinds of needs, and then what form of exchange is going to happen in there. What are you giving? What are you giving? You're giving a property, but what is the person receiving in return? Yeah. So who would like to give this a try? Okay. Do I still have an audience?
Yes,
Alex.
still here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
All right. Okay.
We are still alive.
Maybe I'm not sure. Do you understand the question? Are you able to go ahead and give it a try?
Let me silently read it again so that I properly understand it. It's Abongile here.
Okay. Yes, Abongile. Dimakatso.
Hey, Nomisa.
Hi.
I'm not
you?
really concentrating.
Are you fine?
I'm from the dentist. I can't really talk.
Oh, I can hear. I can hear that you are straight. You went to the dentist.
Just now.
Okay. All right. We'll excuse you for today. CD. CD, are you okay? Maybe let's try and have a look on the first. Let's just, for an example, the first one. You say a consumer. You're looking for. You've got that person who is just looking for a roof over their head. It's a basic thing. I just need a roof over my head, and that kind of an individual is probably first time moving out of home, and probably not the best of means. So this person, you will find that sometimes the kind of product, not everyone who moves out from home can afford to buy their property, but I'm just saying this kind of consumer, it could be someone who is low, financially, who can't really afford a lot. So this person is looking for a roof over their head. This person could be looking to rent a cottage or to rent even a bedroom in someone's house, and the need they are really satisfying is basically your physiological needs, your most basic needs, and the exchange for this person, they are what they are getting out of the transaction, as much as they will pay a price, but they're just looking for shelter and probably safety.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it may. Yeah, okay. So basically, that's the kind of analysis that we need to do. So can someone probably then give a try on another consumer? Profile a consumer and say, this is the consumer, what need will they be looking, and this is the product I'll offer them, and I know that over and above the price, what else are they getting out of the transaction? Does it make sense now?
Yes, it does. It does. I can give it a try.
Okay.
I would identify that consumer who now it's not merely about having a roof over their heads or security, but would be more on that feeling of accomplishment, wanting to feel that I have made it, or my life is improving. And to a certain extent, I would put in a little bit of peer pressure. If you have a group of friends that are living in a certain area and are driving certain cars, then such a consumer would want to fit in that group as well. So it's a
Yes.
status.
Okay. All right. No, that's good. Thank you. Thank you, Abongile. So this person is looking for belong. This person is probably can afford to buy convenience as well. You know, you have that choice that maybe I can buy a property that's close to a shopping center. You start having those smaller nyana, you know, you're not just saying, I just want a house that fits my budget. You're saying, I'm looking for this and that because now even whatever. So one of the things, the exchange that you're getting, and also quality, some kind of quality becomes an issue as well. You're like, I'm buying convenience, I'm also buying a better quality than where I came from before. You know?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. And then the third one. Any takers on this one? All right. Who's someone? It sounds like someone want to say something.
Numisa?
Yes.
Just want to make sure that I understand this. All right, it's Alex.
Next.
All right, so a need identify the need certifying properties that a house has for different people. So the need there, can I say someone needs convenience in the sense that they want to be able to, they just want to have a house for convenience of going to work by walking or taking a cab and being close to the mall and to the children's school. Is that correct? And
Yes.
then the product there can be just a house. All right. All right. And then what would I say for exchange?
Firstly, you are upgrading a bit as well. So when we're looking at the needs, we try and link more. So the convenience and the whatever is the exchange, is the value that you're getting. So you exchange your money for the convenience, all the things you spoke about. So the need that, so now you are at a certain, what can I say? You are achieving certain things. So you could be viewed as having upgraded, in lack of a better word. So you belong to a certain group. You remember there was a concept called Black Diamonds at some point in time.
Yes.
Something like that. So you're getting there. You are fulfilling that esteem need as well. You understand what I'm saying? You're getting there to the prestige, but you're not. You're there. You belong now to a certain group of semi-elite. Not yet there, but semi-elite. If convenience is something that you can pay for. Because there are people who have no option but to stay where the price fits, even if it means you wake up at 4 a.m. As long as you have a shelter, you wake up at 4 a.m. to be able to get to your work on time. So there is some element of esteem and prestige. You're starting to be accomplished now if you start doing that. So the exchange is the convenience, the need you're satisfying, the esteem and the prestige kind of thingy, and it demonstrates that you're accomplishing. And the product is that house. You can define that I want a 3-bedroom house with a swimming pool, a double garage, those nice things. Yeah.
Okay.
And then any other takers? I think another one is where you are at the self-actualization level. The people who buy those homes, I think during the days when we still had newspapers, you'll find the insets of Pam Golding and the likes selling homes worth 25 million rand, and you're thinking, oh, there are people who can actually buy properties worth that much. So, those people buy a location to start with, Houghton Estate or a golf estate somewhere, in Cape Town, the Camps Bay homes that are facing the ocean-facing properties and all those things. So those individuals are more at that self-actualization level. They self-fulfillment. You worked hard, you whatever. So that is self-actualization, and what you are buying by virtue of you being there. There is a level of status that come with you. You understand what I'm saying? There is a status that you attain, but just by staying in a particular address. So those are some of the things. And the product, like I've said, is the mansions. You see these people driving out, and they're about 4 people, but the house looks like it can fit 30 people. But it's just that, and the help in the house. But you know what? That's what they were dreaming of, and they are fulfilled now. They've achieved what they wanted in life, and it is an investment after all. Hopefully, you will be able to realize it when whatever, but at least it is a property that is sitting in there. Okay, so is everybody happy? And okay, can we move on? Any questions? Okay.
We can move on. It's clear now. Thank you.
Okay. All right then. And then the next concept we're going to look at is we are doing a marketing plan. So for you to have a marketing plan, you need to have a market that you're going to market this plan to. So that's what we'll be looking at. So many businesses become excited about what their new goods or services can do, but forget to assess its value to its customers, because that is your market. So a business can succeed only if enough people recognize the value and are willing to pay for it. So then organization should begin by asking customer and market questions such as the following. How will it benefit the customer? So what is the customer looking for? Go back to the need. Are they getting status? Are they getting safety? Are they getting, a shelter? What exactly is the customer getting out of it? How many people? And I think what is also important, if you play in the space of people who are looking for status, you need to understand those individuals and have something that talks to them. So you can't use a one-size-fits-all marketing plan. And in the different the values that you are proposing, define who you are proposing it to. You can't propose the same thing to different consumers. How many people stand to benefit? So this way you are trying to assess the size of the potential market that you are dealing with. Is the market stable or is it growing? So if it is stable, who am I? Do I already have a market share? If it is growing, then if it is stable, am I comfortable with the share that I have? What am I going to do better to make sure that I retain or try and steal from others as well? If it is growing, also you must know that you must up your game because it is very attractive to new entrants. So it is important that you understand what is happening in your market. Earlier on when we started, we were doing that understanding. Is it the buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Okay, if it is this, then I can push prices. But if it is this, then there will be a lot of negotiating by the buyers because it is a buyer's market. So those are the things that are important. But also, when we're talking what percentage of the total market could the product reasonably hope to capture over the next year or few years? So when you're making this investment, it's not a once-off thing. You need to also look ahead and see how sustainable is this. going forward. You can't just think about today I'm selling this and that's it. Hence, you need to, if you went in and participated in the market due to COVID and participated in the PPE sector and provided PPE, somewhere in there you need to have your other strategy should a vaccine or a cure be found and then PPE is not in so much demand. What are you going to do? So these are the things going forward. Russia is talking about the vaccine going to be available pretty soon. So if that was the business, that you were in, you need to see, okay, with this capacity that I had, what can I do? Because now the market is going to kind of, not necessarily the demand will probably reduce a bit when we have the we have a vaccine for COVID-19. Is there another product available in the market from competitors? So how is the competition looking? How is your product compared to the competitors? So you need to put your ear on the ground and understand, what you think your competitors are not doing, and then you get into the space and make sure that you obtain that competitive advantage over them. So it's a process. And then potential customers are aware of their need for this product or service. Is there a need that is it latent or is it undiscovered? So sometimes up until someone shows you something, you probably never even thought, these days convenience is sold all the time. How, for example, when we grew up, cabbages, vegetables were sold on the stands, but now the vegetables are peeled and chopped for you. Someone thought about it and said, well, probably someone who didn't like peeling and chopping the vegetables when they were growing up, and like, what? If someone, sliced bread. When we grew up, there was nothing like sliced bread. Okay, I'm giving my age away. Probably some of you grew up with sliced bread. But I'm just saying things evolve because people find that, people, whatever challenges they have, then people look for solutions. There is, if you watch infomercials, Verimac is very good at selling dreams, things that these things is going to make my life easier. They don't always work, but at least you appreciate the effort that people are putting in trying to look at different solutions, for challenges that people are experiencing. Even if people are not even aware, because I never thought that it's supposed to be a mission, before you cook, you must peel the vegetables. I never thought someone would actually think selling peeled and cut up, especially things like butternut. It's hard to deal with butternut, but now so those are the things you think about. They might seem trivial, but those are the things you need to think about. Any questions? Okay. All right, let's try and attempt a question. So you are given 3 products. What we need to do is, for example, we have exclusive herbal and natural food store. We also have a bed and breakfast establishment. You also have a penthouse development. So what we need to do is to look at these businesses, these 3 businesses, and ask ourselves these questions. Let's try, and the first one, I'll just go back to the slide so that you can see the questions. An exclusive herbal and natural food store. Who would like? So the first question, how will it benefit the customer? What do you think? What do you believe the products? What kind of products and what do they do for customers? Products sold by a herbal and natural food store.
Hi, Mr. Abongile.
Yes,
I
Abongile.
think on my marketing plan, I think I would feature the line of the products not having side effects since they are
Okay.
natural and herbal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. 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 Thank you, Abongile. And how many people stand to benefit? To benefit, what is your potential size of the potential market? What is currently happening now out there in the market?
Um, I think the market is there, not by basing it on any stats, but by just
Mm,
looking at the lifestyle, human behavior. I think
mm,
there are many people that would appreciate such a product because people are sick,
mhm,
especially now with Corona. With Corona, people that were not big friends of green eateries, your spinach, your cabbage.
mhm, mm.
Now, because they were scared of Corona, they were loving those things.
That's very true. Eating raw onions and
Hey,
garlic, you're like, yeah, Corona has showed us things, the concoctions we saw out there. But you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct because, yeah. And then is the market stable or growing?
Let's see. It's growing because as the years go by, we seem to be experiencing more diseases, and people are actually waking up to eating healthy.
Mm.
So I think my product, my herbal product, would be in a growing market.
Yes, yes. I think we're also seeing the trend also in medical aids. They push for more preventative than, curative solutions. So if they can, like you see medical aids, I think discovery, you get points for shopping healthy foods at some shops if you use, so they can track your behaviors, and for them it's like, let's give this benefit so that we don't have to deal with the after effects when this person actually gets sick. I'd rather reward them now for eating healthy. So it's you're correct when you say that it's a growing people. We awakening to this. We are really awakening to this behavior. And if medical aids endorse it, then you start also believing that, in fact, this is definitely good for me. And you start, you also continue to practice such behaviors. All
Exactly.
right. Yeah. What percentage? Okay, let's see. You want to attempt that one? What percentage of the total market could the product or service reasonably hope to capture over the next year or few years?
Mm,
Yeah,
what percentage of the total market could the
yeah.
product or service or reasonably hope to capture over the next year or few years?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
I think it's becoming quite specific. You really need to now have gone deeper into understanding. I think what also came up when we're talking about what we'll achieve, there is gonna be a lot of researching that's gonna happen in this module. So
Yes, yes.
I think the fact that you said it's growing, so now it will call for you to going deep. So when you actually do the exercise to try and understand what is the trend in the market, there will be. So we'll leave that for the actual exercise when you do it on your own, but you can just go and research more about this sector, herbal and natural food store. And then, is there another product or service from competition available to fill part of this demand? What are
Mm,
you
yeah.
this herbal option competing with?
Yeah, I think there are lots of, like as you were saying, that even the medical aid staff are promoting healthy eating. As the result, there are more guys or businesses that are coming into the market of herbal and healthy eating. So there is a fair competition.
Because now you have this concerted effort that I'm gonna go and buy my veggies at Pick and Pay because of that partnership between my medical aid and Pick and Pay kind of thingy. So now, being the food store, probably need to start looking at forming your own partnership kind of thingy over, because now it creates competition for you. We like loyalty points, free things, you will make
Yes.
that effort, that this is where I'm going to fill my petrol because of the loyalty programs. This is where I'm going to buy my food because of I get this. I mean, I think Discovery just takes it to another level. The points, people chase those points. Yes. So those are some of the things you can look at, and you can be a herbal natural food store. There are people who still want to go to the market, the fresh produce market.
Yes.
So those are some. There are still those traditional people who think, the farmers dropped it off at the market. I go and get it from the market directly. So when it's in your shop, it seems like it's been there for some time. Unlike when you actually go to fresh produce. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the fresh produce market in downtown Joburg. Yes. So there are people who believe that, there's nothing fresher than this. So those are some of the things that you need to look at and say, how then do I change my image to create, this thing that even if you get it, mine can still be fresher. You understand what I'm saying? So probably, yeah. So you probably market it and put it out there that we get our produce. Just put it something in there that we get our produce delivered every Friday morning, and people will come Friday morning directly from the farm. Yeah, understand?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just how we perceive things as people, and if you believe it, you will behave according to what you believe. So just that line that says, and now when you get there Friday morning, you see trucks offloading. You're like, okay, it's fine. I'll only come here on Friday mornings to come and get my groceries and my vegetables. It saves me a trip to go down to downtown Joburg. At least there's convenience. I can get it close by, but mine also comes directly from the farmer.
Sure.
Yeah. Are potential customers aware of their need for this product or service? What would you say? Do you think people are aware that this is a product that they need?
Yes, as we were going through the points, we did touch that people are waking up to the fact that they must start eating healthy. It's becoming fashionable, it's trendy because of diseases, because of lifestyle trends. So people are aware rather that there is a service like this, or there is a product like this.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. We touched on it. I think Corona just forced us, even if some people were not aware of it, but during now we had very serious healthcare or health management conversation during the past 5 months. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Should we attempt another one? The bed and breakfast or a penthouse development before we move on? Or is everyone happy that you understand what needs to be done?
Yes, we understand.
You're happy?
We understand. Yes, okay. We happy. I'm happy.
Okay, all right. No, that's fine. Okay, now we move on to the process of actually what happens in developing a marketing plan. There are 10 steps to a marketing plan. So the first one is business review. The second one is problems and opportunities. So what we refer to as those two are referred more as the background to the marketing plan. The third one is the sales objectives. The fourth is target markets and marketing objectives. The fifth one is plan strategies. And then the blocks at the bottom is how, you will actually analyze. We will actually do it later on, but these are the tools that you use, or the kind of things you look at when you actually do your analysis. So for the business review, you will look at the scope. What are the company's strengths and more competences and marketing capabilities? You also look at what is the market and product review for this particular company. So, but we'll go through the whole process to try and understand what we are talking about. So that is step 5, and then step 6, you will have communication goals. You will have the next one is the target marketing tweaks, and then the next one is to look at your budget.
Sister, we are losing you. I'm not sure, is it just me?
No, it's not you.
No,
I
it's
thought
not.
it's the network also.
Yeah.
Misha? Are you there, Numisa? Can't see. Numisa, you're gone.
She's gone.
Just 1 second. I just want to call her. Just 1 second. I think it's a network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Just 1 second. Be patient. Thank you.
It's okay.
And
Hi, Rina.
Are you back? We didn't hear anything. Sorry.
no, that's fine. I was away. So can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Oh, my apologies. I don't know what happened. No, I was aware that you can't hear me, so I didn't. Okay, we all good. All right. So we were all here on this slide, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So the sixth step is the communication goals. The seventh one is target marketing tool mix. And then the next one, eighth, budget, payback analysis, execution, and then evaluation. So what we'll do, we'll go through all the various steps, what happens in there. So a business review, basically, you need to understand the scope of your business. You analyze your company, the products that you are offering, and the market relevant to the marketplace, relevant to your target and your competition within the space you operate in. When we're talking about problems and opportunity, you look at all the challenges emerging from your marketing database. That will inform the basis for your marketing plan. Remember, we said the whole point is to satisfy a need, and the need comes from there is a challenge that is not fulfilled, that you bring when you offer a product, you're actually feeling that need. So that's what we call marketing background. And then the next one, your marketing plan talks to the sales objectives. What level of goods, so what are you projecting to sell in terms of your goods and services? So when you say, I would like to sell this, what is your target market? You establish the marketing objectives and say, how much advertising do you have the personnel to actually do the marketing for you? Which distribution channels are you going to use to actually push your product? So there is a lot when you say, I want to sell. Those are the things you need to take into consideration. Your target market, this is a group of people with a common characteristics that is similar purchasing needs and buying habits, and you need to understand the behavior and their behavior as your target market, so that you offer things that are going to suit their preferences. You plan strategies, the positioning for the image of your product, and your brand positioning within your target market relative to your competition. What are you doing better? So your marketing strategy is a statement of how the marketing objectives will be achieved in quantifiable and measurable steps, and what methodology and tactical marketing tools you will be using. Communication goals, you identify the target, make sure that your target market is aware and they have the attitude necessary to deliver your positioning and fulfill your marketing objectives. What are we talking about when we're talking about your tactical marketing mixed tools? We're talking about things like your product, the naming, the packaging, the pricing, the distribution, promotions, advertising messages, and media, merchandising, and public relations. It's a combination of all those things. And then everything, is a dream until you can implement it, and implementation requires money. So you need to be very much aware that you need to have a budget for that, the total cost, the actual implementation of your marketing plan. Companies like Coca-Cola, I always asked myself, why do they continue marketing? Because it's like 90% of the population in the world drink Coca-Cola. But they do not run short of adverts, and the reality is that Pepsi had the higher market share. Pepsi being the competitor for Coca-Cola, and based on that marketing, that's how they surpassed Pepsi to be the leading, the leading soft drink company in the world. And I guess they know they've done it and removed someone before, so they don't want to befell the same, to fall into the same trap. So that's why probably I think is one of the most aggressively marketed. Coca-Cola is one of the most aggressively marketing company out there, and knowing that people who drink Coca-Cola, they hardly defect to anything else. So you put your budget in there and make sure that it is in place, and from there you also you look at it's when you say you pay back analysis, you're looking at you do the cost benefit analysis that the programs and strategies will generate revenues in excess of expenses. So you should be able to recover your marketing, your actual marketing cost when you also over investing and still not achieve that. So it probably means your strategy is not working. You didn't do a thorough background analysis, background to your marketing. But what is important, you must know that marketing is a cost of doing business. So it's important that your sales, whatever amount you inject or the percentage that you inject in your marketing, you are definitely going to get your returns on it. And then you have a proper calendar in terms of execution of your marketing plan. Remember, a lot of things are seasonal. Christmas is a time where people, tend to buy more because of the nice mood and everything. So what are you doing as a business during the Christmas time? At what time do you plan your sales and how do you market them? What all the different things. So you need to have a calendar. All of these things, so they don't happen by accident. That sales are targeted at a particular point, all the things you bought in Christmas, January, they want to make their money. If it didn't sell in December, the chances of it selling in January are very small because people have spent a lot of money. So that's, for you to make sure that people still come back and clear your stock, you put in sales and you discount the prices so that at least it's better to sell it at a lower price than not to sell it at all. So when you have a marketing plan, you need to be clear exactly the timing of the different things. What are you targeting? What happens? Schools are opening. When the schools are closed, what if it's something, it's a product that you offer to, what can I say, to families, when schools are closed, what can you offer? So generally those are the things. And then execution, it's exactly that. When you actually do, you make sure that you get the product, and the product, you make sure that the product is available at the store. You've done all your marketing, so now people must find the thingy, the goods on the shelves. Because if people keep going and they don't find the goods, then even if they were interested, once they are there, there is a need that they are calling sorry, with the alternative, and you where whatever implement any and look at what worked and what didn't work, so that going forward, what you need to improve on, what you probably need to let go, and what you should keep on doing because it works for you. So whatever you do in a business or generally even in life, you need to always look back and say, ask yourself 3 different questions. Who is it for? That is your target market. The scope, what does it do? So what does it do for my target market? And how is different. So we're talking now from a competition point of view. How are you going to put your target market? Like we said, we look at the consumer behavior is the process and activities people are involved in as they move through the purchasing decision-making process. Consumers behave in certain ways and change their ways over time due to many factors related to social, personal, and geographic, psychographic trends. So basically, in a specific target market needs to be established. So for an example, in real estate, you profile your buyers for the area. So you know the people who would like to stay in a particular area. You know, you make sure. So when you are delivering a product, you're like, I'll focus in properties in Pretoria East, for an example. But then you also need to dig deep and say, you become more specific and say, what type of properties am I looking for? Am I looking into estate living? Am I looking into sectional title properties? So those are the things. I'm not saying you can't do both, but you must know that the marketing plan for this particular kind of product, this is my target market, so it needs to be clear. A marketing plan is not a one-size-fits-all, because even like we said, how do you access or how do you reach your clients? So depending on what you are selling, you look at your target market and you start accessing the avenues that your target market is using. Like if they're using their on Facebook, then you put some adverts on Facebook. Is it something that's going to pop up on the News 24 article? So those are some of the things that you need to think about. Who typically goes to News 24 and reads the books and reads the news? Then it's probably business people, more mature people who literally go and read the news and be like, okay, I will put the more high-end properties in the news to Facebook. It's more a younger generation, maybe not really that young, or probably Instagram. So those things, those are some of the channels you must think about. As well. And what is the scope? What does all right, any question? Oh, okay. So when you analyze the scope, if you remember when I was showing you that busy diagram showing the various steps that we follow, if you look, I said the blocks at the bottom, they actually look at how you do the analysis. So here it is when you're analyzing the scope under business review. You look at the company strengths and weaknesses. What do you have that the market wants or needs? What are you stronger than? Where are you stronger than or more vulnerable to your competitors? Is it technology? Is it your distribution channels? Is it your pricing? Your product superiority, your quality point of view. What are your core competences? What are you good at? Your operations? Is it marketing, strategic? And these are the areas where you start saying, okay, I don't necessarily am good at a particular thing. Maybe I need to outsource that. But what is important, you should know what are your competences so that you don't waste time and end up, because you want to save costs, but then at the end of the day, you end up, when you actually have to execute whatever you're doing, it's so poorly done. So operations, you're good, you produce good quality, products that everybody can vouch for. But when it comes to marketing, you think you want to save money and you keep it to yourself. What happens? You are not good at marketing. So you have all these good products, but they're not reaching people. People are not aware of. So these are the things you need to look at. What can you use to be your competitive advantage? The marketing capabilities. What marketing capabilities do you possess? Do we have high awareness, a desirable brand name, a large customer list, high repetitive retention? You know, you've managed to capture your market and they are loyal to you. What's going to happen now for a couple of the exercises that, okay, before we start here, any questions on in the background of the marketing plan, the business review specifically? Good, fine. Okay. What's going to happen for a number of activities? Hi, yes, my dear.
Hi. Yes. I just want to find out. To understand. Oh, what's happening there with my sound? I think I can hear.
Okay, I can hear you too.
Okay.
Okay,
we
fine.
need
We
to
can hear you. Yes.
Okay, we need to understand the market as we are doing our marketing plan or marketing review. I want to understand, can we create the market or stimulate the market? I'm saying that because I've been observing most of these big property developers, your Baldwin, your Century 21, your Ralston, all these that are developing huge developments, that they will go to an area, they have reached a point where their development or unit prices are way higher than your affordable level. But they go anywhere, they buy land anywhere and they develop and people flock to those areas. And I always wonder, what makes them certain that people will follow them and people will still follow them? Are they creating or stimulating the market? What happens in such? It's just interesting to watch and observe.
And observe. One thing